Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video. I'm going to talk about layoffs hitting Rolling Stone. They're talking about staff reductions. Now, I believe that there may be a component to these layoffs that might be kind of culling some people that are going to cause Rolling Stone problems or have caused Rolling Stone problems going forward. You probably can guess what kind of problems I'm talking about. Potential liabilities, potential lawsuits. And I think we're going to see this a lot in the media, especially now. After this week, I think we're going to see a lot of online publications, newspapers, magazines, media companies throwing people overboard because they're like, yeah, this person just cannot shut up and we're going to get sued, and or we're going to take a massive hit to our readership because they literally cannot shut up. So we're gonna talk about this. What is surprising? Well, I guess it's not really that surprising. Basically, these people got fired because what's going on is they're letting a bunch of people go at Rolling Stone, but they're also hiring more people. So it could be that they're hiring more people. They're cheaper. But again, I believe there is something else going on. Well, they call it the chilling effect. I think it's called the chilling effect. I think a lot of these publications to stay in business during these unprecedented times are going to get rid of people that could get them sued into oblivion. See also Gawker. See also what happened with Geo Media. They got rid of Kotaku and a bunch of other websites. They sold them off. They didn't want to deal with it because they're still dealing, I think, with the Deadspin lawsuit. So yeah, I expect a lot of changes. We're going to talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Go out to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com. Sign up to be notified when we post new videos. Check it out. You'll get an email blast every time we post new videos. We do have paywalled content over there as well, and we're going to be ramping that up. Unless I get fired for shooting my mouth off. Who the hell knows? Yeah, I'm going to fire myself. Somebody tried to fire me one time. They tried to get me to fire me. I think I told this story before, but so we have a couple of different companies, and one of the companies is actually the parent company of the studio that does Clownfish TV. But we also do a bunch of other stuff, websites and media and marketing and that kind of thing. And somebody called my direct line and left a message telling me to fire Kneon from Clownfish TV. Because he was like an alt-right bigot, Nazi, homophobe, or whatever, whatever the buzzwords were. And this was a couple of years ago. And I'm like, I'll get right on that. I will get right on that. I will go fire myself. And the person that called sounded very terminally online. Let's put it that way. Kind of sounded like I moved his stapler or something. And yeah, I was supposed to fire myself. So go figure. Anyway, this is coming from the Wrap. Rolling Stone hit with layoffs amid ongoing staff reductions at Penske Media. Executive Digital Director Lisa Tozzi, Chief Television Critic Alan Sepinwall, and Copy Chief Stephen Pearl are among those let go. I don't know what these people do. They said the cuts come as parent company Penske Media is actively looking for ways to shrink headcount across its many properties. However, there also may be a sign of a change in direction under the new CEO. Is it Julian Holguin? Rather than a staff reduction, as Rolling Stone has also reported multiple new job listings. Yeah, I'm telling you what's going on. And we're going to see a lot of this. We're going to see a lot of this, I think, in the comic book industry, too, to some degree or another, because there were quite a few comic book people a couple of years ago, I remember, that were posting Antifa in their bio and all kinds of stuff on their social media and all of that. And if things go the way that it looks like they're going to go, and that particular group gets put on the naughty list, I guarantee you these companies are going to toss these people overboard because they don't want to deal with any imperial entanglements. Let's put it that way. They don't want the FBI knocking on their door over at Marvel Comics or DC Comics and being like, "Hey, so I heard you have some terrorists over here at your comic book company." Yeah, it's gonna get really, really interesting in the next couple of. I don't even think it's gonna take a couple of years, a couple of months. I think a lot of these people are gonna get gone. A lot of the people, a lot of the hardcore activists. I'm not talking people on the left. Unfortunately, I think just people on the left in general are potentially going to get caught up in a very wide net that is going to be cast. But I think basically we're going to get rid of a lot of these activists, the ones we make fun of all the time on the channel, because now things have gotten very, very real. Things have gotten very real after this week. So I think they're like, you know what? You were already costing us money, and now you're just a liability. You got to go. That's my personal opinion as to what's going on here. According to Darcy, so this is coming from Oliver Darcy, fired by the Post. The Washington Post fired someone over comments she made about white men in the wake of Charlie Kirk's death. That's the Washington Post. Yeah, if they're firing people for that, the Washington Post, these guys are toast, man. There's no way. They said among the affected Rolling Stone staffers are the digital director, chief television critic, copy chief. As of this writing, none of them have commented publicly, probably not allowed to, if they want their severance. Representatives for Penske did not immediately respond to a request for comment from the Wrap. In August, owner and CEO Jay Penske surprised employees company-wide when he announced that beginning in October, all employees are required to work at least 4 days a week in office. Oh my God, guys. What a horrible, horrible person. Or they'd lose their jobs. This is what is going on across the board. Basically, this is the litmus test, I think, for a lot of CEOs. Are your employees willing to return to office, and are they willing to shut up about politics, especially if their job has nothing to do with politics? If you're writing for a video game blog or a comic book blog, do you really have to make everything about Trump? Do you really have to make everything about those awful Republicans when some people just want to read your review on the latest video game, and 90% of the time, at least until recently, those reviews would devolve into some kind of an own against the right-wing chuds. If you're just trying to run an apolitical news site, you're going to get rid of these people. Now, it's not saying, people on the left can't work there. That's not saying that at all. And I hope that's not what it's saying. I hope that's not where we're going to go. I hope we're not going to go, full on Red Scare and just anybody who has any whiff of liberalism about them gets tossed overboard. But, when you've got these activists, these activists that have hijacked your company, it's like, what are you supposed to do? And if you've talked to them, and you talk to them, a lot of times they threaten you anyway. They're like, well, I'm going to out you as being a bigot, misogynist, homophobe. So, you look for a way to get rid of them. Oh, hey, guys, we're downsizing. Oh, hey, we're moving to Kathmandu. Oh, you can't make it? Oh, that's too bad. That's where we're going. We're going to Texas. Everybody. Oh, you don't like Texas? You don't like Florida? Oh, that's too bad. Here's your severance. And that's what they're doing. Like, these companies are going through all these really extreme measures because they know, like we talked before about the termites, the house is infested with termites and they don't want to burn the house down. So they're going to, take some pretty extreme measures to get rid of them and make it look like, oh, guys, it's just business as usual. It's like, no, I'm telling you exactly what they're doing. Right? You don't have to like me. You can think I'm a right-wing raging nut job, which I'm not. Actually, anybody who knows me knows I'm not. I'm actually a libertarian, but it all looks the same when you're, as Geeky says, pickled. They're getting rid of you because you're annoying as fuck and a potential liability. All these people, these newspapers, and it's not that they're afraid of Trump. They're afraid more of their audience and losing their audience. They're afraid of losing their readers and their subscribers. So they got to go back to center because people just want the news, right? They just want, and Rolling Stone really never had any business going as hard into politics as they have. Now, Rolling Stone has been political in the past. I've actually been reading Rolling Stone for many, many years. I used to read Spin. In the 90s, I read Details. Anybody remember Details? Ray Gun. Remember Ray Gun? I used to read that one too. I was a DJ. I think I told people that before. I was an alt rock DJ for a number of years. And, I worked at different radio stations. And so I had like all the music magazines and I subscribed to all of them. And very few of them were political back then. I mean, they would do interviews with people and they would talk about, sticking it to the man or whatever, but it was like 99% movies, 99%. They'd talk, movies. What am I talking movies? I'm talking music. I'm sorry. Music, movies, fashion. Some of them, they would get into tech back then, like early tech. They would talk. I think Reagan used to talk a lot about tech, if I remember correctly. They didn't get into politics. I don't remember them getting into, but maybe it's because, Clinton was in office, but I don't remember them getting into hard politics. They might make a Newt Gingrich joke here or there, but it wasn't like now. And same with the video game magazines back then in the 80s and 90s. They never talked politics. Very seldom came up. It's just about the game. It's just about the games. That was it. And that's, I think, what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to go back to that. And, if they want to survive, because there is going to be an outright rejection of these activists, especially after this week. And it was already happening. A lot of these publications, a lot of these media outlets are already failing. See also MSNBC. After this week, it's all going to collapse. So they're going to basically, I think, get rid of the people that are a problem, and they're going to bring new people in. The mandate applies not just to staff working for Penske. They said to all publications and brands, which includes Variety, The Hollywood Reporter, Billboard, Rolling Stone, Deadline, Golden Globes, and South by Southwest. The mandate is reportedly a source of much confusion among the company's publications. In fact, many of them employ people who live nowhere near Los Angeles, New York, Austin, or Miami, where Penske maintains offices. That means they don't want you. Anyway. Too bad. Oh, you can't make it? Oh, you live in Kentucky? Oh, well, we need you here in Los Angeles. Oh, you can't afford to move to Los Angeles? Oh, well, good luck. It's been real. You live in Portland and you're not moving to LA? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Bye. And that's how they're going to get rid of these people. Penske indicated in his announcement that the in-office requirement is related to corporate culture and productivity goals and isn't connected to financial or business concerns. Bullshit. Bullshit. The memo even suggested outright that remote workers are less devoted to their job and less productive. An assertion multiple studies since 2020 have found to be untrue. Depends on the workers. It depends on the workers and it depends on what they do. I worked remote for a good number of years. I was a web developer for a government adjacent software company. We were actually a provider of software for the government, different departments in the government. And I was able to work remotely via a very secure tunnel. But I had to earn the right to do that. I worked there for like 5 years in person. And then when we wanted to move, elsewhere, I said, hey, I love this job. I don't want to have to go find another job. And they said, well, we want to keep you, so we'll make an exception for you. There were a couple of people that work remotely. I think mostly salespeople. But and I worked remotely for like three years. I don't know, it was a while. But it's you can't. It's very hard to trust new people to just come in and work remotely. I mean, it's like when we work remotely with writers or artists or whatever. It's usually piecework. Because it's like, you get paid X number of dollars for this particular article or, piece of artwork or whatever it is. Because it's hard to put somebody on salary and you don't know what they're doing. You don't know if you're getting your 40 hours a week plus or whatever it is out of them. You have no idea. So, I mean, I do understand that. It said speculation by outside observers is that the move is more about reducing headcount without having to report layoffs. So maybe producing the desired result. Yeah, there's a term for this. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. But it's basically they want you to fire yourself so they don't have to fire you. So they make things as difficult as possible. They give you the impossible task. And then, oh, well, that's too bad. That's too bad. And this happens in sales and marketing a lot too. They will give salespeople an unrealistic sales goal because they want to get rid of that person, but they have to set a goal that they failed at to cover their own ass. And especially in certain states like California, you have to be like, oh, I had to fire them for cause, and you had to have a paper trail. So I told them they had to bring in $1 million this month, and they typically only bring in 100,000, but I gave them a task and they failed and I couldn't afford it. See ya. In reality, it's like, yeah, I hate that guy. So I'm going to give him the impossible task and he's not going to be able to do it. And then he's going to be gone. And I know how that works, but we've done that before. Companies I've worked at, I don't agree with it. I think you'd rather, it's preferable to be honest and just be like, yeah, I hate Jim. I think he's a dick. I don't want him working here. But it's more non-confrontational. It looks more professional. Be like, well, we gave Jim a task that he just could not do. So see ya, Jim. Here you go. Here's your severance. Get out the door. So a lot of these people probably won't say anything. That's why you're not hearing more about it. I think is these people that are getting cut loose are not saying anything about it because they probably had to sign papers when they took their severance package that they weren't going to talk about, especially if they're in the media. Like you're not going to be able to talk about it for like 2 years or whatever it is. Have we, to this day, heard anything from Axel Alonso at Marvel? I don't think we've heard anything from Axel Alonso at Marvel about why he got fired back in 2017. And I'm thinking that's that Disney money. They just gave him a shit ton of money and said, you want this money? You will shut up. It's like you suck at your job. You will shut up. Anyway, gonna wrap this up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Again, check out news.clownfishtv.com. Sign up for notifications when we drop new videos. I don't trust YouTube. Some people have gotten notifications. I don't know what happened. Within the last week or two, it seems like notifications are kind of coming back. I know that they had an algorithm change and it hit a lot of channels, including ours. I have no idea what's going on. But sign up for notifications so when we do post new videos, you guys will be notified of it. It doesn't cost anything. You will get a couple of emails a day, though, just so you know. So there we go. All right, guys. We'll talk later. For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.